Yo, I just got some information myself, man, because it was strange to me that every month he's going up for a bail hearing. And I know that that seems strange to a lot of people.
In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean.
Here's something no one's addressing. When the FBI, DEA, and other agencies conducted a large-scale operation inside Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, it wasn't just a standard safety inspection. This wasn't a simple walkthrough with clipboards and flashlights. It was an extensive, coordinated sweep involving 9 specialized units, tactical teams, and a significant federal presence at one of the most notorious detention centers in the country. And let's be honest, this operation took place at the same facility where Scene Diddy Combs is being held. That's not a coincidence. So what exactly were they searching for? And how does it relate to the ongoing saga surrounding one of the most controversial figures in the entertainment world?
So yesterday, on Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily, so I guess right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind.
Let's break down the operation itself, which seemed more like a raid straight out of an action movie than a standard prison check. Insider sources describe a chaotic scene with agents storming the facility, dogs sniffing every corner, and cells being torn apart. Official statements from authorities were vague, claiming there was no immediate threat, and it was just a routine procedure. But anyone paying close attention knows there's more to the story. Reports suggest this wasn't just about enforcing prison rules or cracking down on contraband. It was sending a message. Whether that message was directed at Diddy specifically or the public at large is still up for debate, but the timing is impossible to ignore. With Diddy's legal troubles dominating the news and his name linked to multiple allegations, the decision to raid the facility where he's being held raises significant questions.
When people got a lot of money and they got lawyers that can come up with different reasons and different information and present it to the courts, that they are able to get how many bail hearings, as long as you got different information to present to the court, different evidence.
If you're not familiar with the Metropolitan Detention Center, let's paint a picture. This is far from your typical jail. It's been called hell on earth for a reason. Overcrowded cells, severe safety concerns, and dilapidated infrastructure make it a living nightmare for anyone stuck inside. The facility is notorious for its lack of basic necessities. Inmates endure freezing temperatures during winter power outages. Rats outnumber the staff, and medical care is more of an urban legend than a reality. It's no surprise that some judges have flat out refused to send defendants there, calling its conditions barbaric. And yet, this is where Diddy, a man used to private jets and multi-million-dollar estates, finds himself. The irony is almost poetic.
So you got to realize he got a lot of money. He still got a lot of money because he's paying these high-profile lawyers to take this case. So in having them to take this case, they're able to construct a lot of information together to making sure that when they go to the courts, they can say, yo, Your Honor, listen here. This is something that's changed. This is something that's new. This is something that's different.
But let's circle back to the raid. Why now, and why such a massive display of force? What could they have possibly been hoping to uncover? Some speculate that the operation was tied to Diddy's high-profile case, especially with the accusations of witness tampering and other behind-the-scenes manipulation. After all, this isn't just any inmate we're talking about. Diddy's name alone carries immense weight and attracts attention. Allegations of him paying off witnesses and using other inmates' phone accounts have only added fuel to the fire. Could the raid have been a direct response to these claims, or was it simply a way for authorities to flex their power and remind everyone, including Diddy, who's really in control? And let's not ignore the rumors swirling about what's been happening behind the prison walls. Unverified reports suggest that contraband, including sensitive documents and other restricted items, may have been found during the sweep. While authorities have remained tight-lipped about the details, the scale of the operation suggests something much more significant. Some insiders even speculate that the raid was aimed at gathering evidence to strengthen the government's case against Diddy. Whether that's the case or not, one thing is clear. This wasn't just about maintaining order. It was about asserting control.
A whole forestry of next week, because what they did was they held off whatever the procedures was going to go down today. The judge said he's going to revisit this next week. So I guess, I don't know if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll find out what's going on. But it's going to be something that I think it may shock the world.
What makes this situation even more captivating is the stark contrast between Diddy's present circumstances and the lavish life he once led. This is a man who built an empire on luxury and excess, hosted legendary parties that attracted Hollywood's elite, and for years seemed untouchable. Yet now he's just another inmate in a facility that cares nothing about fame or fortune. While some might argue he's simply getting a taste of his own medicine, others see it as a tragic fall from grace. Either way, his presence at MDC Brooklyn has cast an even brighter spotlight on an already notorious institution. For years, MDC Brooklyn has epitomized everything wrong with the federal prison system. A place where violence is rampant, inmates are left to survive in overcrowded cells, and basic human rights are routinely violated. Yet it continues to operate, housing some of the most high-profile figures in recent history, from Ghislaine Maxwell to R. Kelly, and now Diddy. The facility has become a grim symbol, a reminder of what happens when power and privilege collide with the justice system.
Diddy is a multi-millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. If he wins this case against them, look at all the business that he lost. Look what they made him look like in the public eye. He could bankrupt. he could bankrupt the government.
Here's the reality. While Diddy's case has certainly brought renewed focus to MDC Brooklyn, the facility's problems go far beyond one high-profile inmate. Reports of systemic neglect, corruption, and abuse have plagued the jail for years, and the recent raid only shines a light on how deeply these issues run. Take, for instance, the allegations of staff involvement in smuggling contraband. While the FBI has yet to confirm if this played a part in the operation, it wouldn't be the first time MDC Brooklyn has faced such claims. In fact, several staff members have been arrested in recent years for offenses, ranging from accepting bribes to facilitating illegal activities. This troubling pattern points to a far larger issue within the Bureau of Prisons, a culture of complacency and corruption that enables these problems to not only persist but thrive.
They know they already won their case. He's going to have to plead guilty to something. Maybe the guns. It may be the sex trafficking. It may be some stuff they found in the tax evasion. It may be charges that we don't even know about. But he's going to have to plead guilty to something which get them off the hook.
The situation at MDC Brooklyn is equally harsh for the other inmates, many of whom may not be as high profile as Diddy, but are still deeply impacted by the conditions. For them, the raid was merely another stark reminder of the power imbalances in place. While Diddy's case attracted attention and media coverage, the reality for the majority of inmates, those without vast legal resources or a global following, is that life at MDC Brooklyn is relentless and brutal. For them, the raid wasn't a quest for justice. It was simply a matter of survival.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
Yes.
the shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
So where does this leave Diddy? For the time being, he remains in custody, awaiting the next phase of what has already been a tumultuous legal battle. His legal team continues to push for bail, arguing that the inhumane conditions at MDC Brooklyn are not only detrimental to his well-being, but also hinder his ability to prepare for trial. While the judge in charge of his case has yet to be swayed by these arguments, the increasing attention on the facility could eventually work in Diddy's favor. After all, denying bail based on the severity of the charges is one thing, but doing so while knowing the harsh conditions the defendant will endure in custody is another matter entirely.
It sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at
Okay.
a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
The story of Sean Diddy Combs and his time at MDC Brooklyn is not just about one man's fall from grace. It serves as a window into a deeply flawed system. From the corruption inside the facility to the larger societal forces that enable such conditions to persist, the situation exposes far more than the surface-level drama. While the media may spotlight the spectacle, the real narrative unfolds in the shadows, the lies impacted, the voices muted, and the unanswered questions that linger.
That fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes, as soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the...
As the story continues to unfold, one can't help but wonder, is this the beginning of the end for Diddy, or will he find a way to reclaim his spot at the top? More importantly, what does this case reveal about the state of justice in America today? These are the questions that will define the next chapter of this saga, and the answers will have far-reaching implications, not just for Diddy, but for everyone tangled in the web of power, privilege, and accountability. Stay tuned, as this story is far from over. Each new development adds a fresh layer of intrigue, almost like a real-life Netflix drama unfolding before our eyes. But here's the kicker. While Diddy remains ensnared in the chaos of the Metropolitan Detention Center, his legal team is pulling out all the stops to secure his release. This isn't just any typical bail request. It's a high-stakes game, with millions on the line and every move crucial. So what's Diddy's defense team strategizing to get him out of that Brooklyn prison? And why are their efforts stirring even more controversy? Let's take a closer look at Diddy's latest strategy, his bid for bail. His lawyers have proposed one of the most restrictive bail packages ever seen. Imagine this. Diddy confined to a 3-bedroom apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side, under constant surveillance by 24/7 private security monitoring his every move. No unapproved visitors, no internet access, limited phone privileges, and regular check-ins with federal authorities. In essence, it's a life under a microscope, designed to assure the court that there is absolutely no risk of him breaking any rules. His legal team has even offered to fund all the security measures themselves, reportedly costing tens of millions of dollars. And yet, despite all these promises, the judge still denied the request. So what's really going on behind the scenes?
Is everybody familiar with the old Houdini? So what Diddy's lawyers are trying to do is pull a Houdini. They're trying to say that the evidence that they have is different. Well, it's not different. The video that the entire world has seen is not going to go away. The fact that he had parties that were freak-offs is not going away. So it's just a question of whether or not.
Well, according to prosecutors, the issue boils down to trust, or more specifically, the lack of it. They've portrayed Diddy as someone who would bend the rules, even from behind bars, and they've got plenty of evidence to back up that claim. For instance, there are allegations that Diddy has been using other inmates' phone accounts to make unauthorized calls. Then there are the handwritten notes allegedly found in his cell during a recent search, where he reportedly instructed a family member to dig up dirt on his accusers. If these claims are true, they don't exactly paint him as a model inmate. Prosecutors argue that Diddy's apparent ability to manipulate situations from inside a federal facility demonstrates that he can't be trusted to adhere to the strict conditions of house arrest. And honestly, it's hard to refute that argument when you consider the pattern of behavior they've outlined.
And then if he does this new, quote, robust bail package, you can avoid and evade. And he is very connected with people that can help him avoid and evade. I'm not saying he will, but I would be surprised if the court grants him a bond. When the federal government wants you detained, you are normally detained. And here it was a very far-reaching situation that he was involved in.
This is where things take a murkier turn. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has come forward with some explosive allegations about his former boss. According to Deal, Diddy not only has the ability to outsmart the system, but also possesses the resources to completely disappear if he wanted to. Deal reportedly told an interviewer, "Let's be real. He's got connections all over the world. If he wanted to vanish, he could. Private jets, offshore accounts, you name it. He's got options most people don't." Whether or not these claims are true, they've certainly fueled the fire and given prosecutors even more ammunition to oppose Diddy's release. And let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. Diddy isn't just fighting for his freedom, he's fighting for his legacy. For decades, his name has been synonymous with success in the entertainment industry, but the serious allegations against him have cast a long shadow over everything he's built. Claims of intimidation, coercion, and misconduct have rocked the industry, and the court of public opinion has been unforgiving. With each new headline, the pressure mounts, and it becomes more crucial for his legal team to secure a win, beginning with bail. But so far, the courts aren't relenting, and the stakes have never been higher.
So I got to piece you on the spot, right? Do you believe he get bail next week or no?
I think that if the lawyers can come up with a good enough agreement, you gotta realize, why is this the third judge? We already know this is the third bail hearing.
What's particularly interesting is how Diddy's lawyers are leveraging the conditions at MDC Brooklyn as part of their argument for his release. They've described the facility as inhumane and dangerous, pointing to issues like overcrowding and safety concerns, and frankly, they have a valid point. The detention center has been riddled with problems for years, with numerous reports of violence, neglect, and unsanitary conditions. It's not exactly the kind of place where anyone, let alone a high-profile figure like Diddy, would want to spend time. His legal team argues that these conditions are preventing him from adequately preparing his defense, which is a reasonable claim, however. Here's the catch. While these arguments might hold weight in a different case, the gravity of the charges against Diddy makes it a much harder sell. Judges are likely to prioritize public safety over the comfort of the accused, especially when the allegations involve serious predatory behavior. This puts Diddy in a difficult position, as the court must weigh the need to ensure his safety and ability to prepare for trial against the potential risks his release might pose to the public.
Called this afternoon at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, their legal documents, the government's saying no. On the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
And speaking of those allegations, let's explore the ripple effects they're having. Diddy's case has thrust renewed attention onto the infamous freak-off parties that have long circulated in celebrity gossip circles. These events, described as extravagant, invite-only gatherings where anything goes, have been the subject of rumors for years. But now, with multiple accusers coming forward, those whispers are gaining new credibility. Attorney Tony Busby, representing over 120 alleged victims, has even suggested that other high-profile attendees could be implicated. In a recent interview, Busby boldly stated, "If you were there and you saw something wrong and said nothing, you're just as responsible." Silence isn't innocence. It's a powerful statement, one that's likely causing a great deal of unease among people in Hollywood. The potential fallout from this case is massive. We're talking about a domino effect that could topple not just Diddy, but an entire network of individuals who may have been complicit in his actions. Already, there are rumors of celebrities deleting social media posts and scrambling to distance themselves from Diddy as quickly as possible. And who can blame them? The last thing anyone wants is to be caught up in this scandal, especially with accusations as serious as these. But here's the truth: running from the past doesn't erase it. If Busby's team truly has the evidence they claim, a lot of people could find themselves in very hot water.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, it faced obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
Of course, Diddy's legal team isn't taking any of this lying down. They've been quick to dismiss the allegations, calling them sensationalized and unfounded. In one particularly fiery statement, Diddy's attorney, Mark Ignall, fired back, saying, "These accusations are nothing more than a cash grab. My client is a target because of his success, plain and simple." It's a strong defense, tapping into a narrative we've seen before: powerful men being framed by opportunistic accusers. But the question remains, how much of this is spin and how much of it is the truth? Only time will tell. For now, the battle lines are clearly drawn and neither side is backing down. One of the most intriguing aspects of this case is the sheer complexity of Diddy's legal strategy. On one hand, his team is working tirelessly to disprove the allegations and clear his name. On the other, they're simultaneously engaged in damage control, trying to salvage what remains of his public image. It's a delicate balancing act, and it's becoming increasingly difficult as more details emerge. Take, for example, the release of surveillance footage showing an altercation between Diddy and his former partner Cassie. While his lawyers argue the video was taken out of context, the visual evidence is tough to ignore. For many, it serves as a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play in his relationships, and only adds fuel to the growing fire surrounding the case.
He doesn't kind of buy what the prosecution's selling. He thinks they've looked at the notes.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're cheating.
I mean, I would think that too.
But apparently, what happened is commonplace.
But here's the thing. This case isn't just about Diddy. It's about the broader culture of power and privilege that has allowed individuals like him to operate with little accountability for so long. The allegations against him have opened up a Pandora's box, forcing the entertainment industry to confront uncomfortable truths about itself. While Diddy may be the one in the spotlight right now, he's far from the only figure facing intense scrutiny. As more accusers step forward and more details emerge, it's becoming clear that this case is about much more than just one man. It's about the systemic issues that have been ignored or swept under the rug for far too long. So where does that leave us? For now, Diddy remains behind bars, his legal team fighting an uphill battle to secure his release. The court has made it clear that no special treatment will be given, regardless of his fame or wealth. And with each passing day, the pressure continues to build, not just on Diddy, but on everyone connected to him. The stakes have never been higher, and the outcome of this case could have profound implications, not only for the entertainment industry, but for society as a whole.
If they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in the sexual conduct and being in those spaces, consuming things of that nature.
As we await the next chapter in this unfolding drama, one thing is certain: the story of Sean Diddy Combs is far from over. Whether he ultimately clears his name or becomes a cautionary tale, his case serves as a powerful reminder of the complexities surrounding power, privilege, and accountability. And as the world watches with bated breath, the question remains, what will happen next? Will Diddy manage to turn the tide in his favor, or is this the beginning of the end for one of the most iconic figures in modern entertainment? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity news and updates. See you in the next video.